분위기를 보니까는요, MLB 네트워크 방송사에서 토론토 블루제이스를 취재할 것으로 보여지기 때문에 좀 바쁜 하루가 될 것 같습니다. 여러분, 오늘 MLB 네트워크 방송사가 이 토론토 블루제이스 취재를 왔는데요. 클리프 플로이드 해설위원이 지금 이곳을 찾았거든요. 뉴욕 매츠 출신 아니겠습니까? 저를 기억하고 있을지는 모르겠습니다만 일단 인터뷰를 시도해 보도록 하겠습니다.
Por ahí, pero yo creo que mayormente trato de hacer su trabajo. Personal goals, 300.
Wow. So Matt Williams is the manager. They pay you pretty well if you're a manager.
Well, hell, give me a number. I need a manager.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. All right.
Alright, good. Toronto Blue Jays, you know this team.
Yeah.
How's it looking for 2020?
I think it's gonna be fine. I think they have some really good pickups this off season. You know, you look at Chase Anderson, you look at Ryu. I think those are big pieces to just getting getting off to a good start as far as April. And then when you look at the AL East, in my opinion, it's wide open now. The Yankees have some issues, right? You have a starting pitcher that's down. You have two of your big studs and Judge and Stanton that are not there. Boston Red Sox are going to struggle. I'm not saying if you're the Jays, you go out and keep going as far as acquiring more talent. But if you start off well, you should be buyers at the deadline to make this thing. Maybe the window opens a little bit sooner than you thought.
Right. Well, Hyunjin, you signed with the Jays.
Yeah.
I'm sure you followed his season a little bit last year. What did you see from him last year?
He's an absolute stud. I think.
He doesn't throw fast.
I think that's the thing. What we have to get away from in this game is realizing that sometimes throwing harder is not always the good answer or the right answer. And when you can pitch and be able to make the adjustments on the fly to understanding that you made a bad pitch before, but I can come back and hit my spot.
Right.
That's pitching.
Right.
So I think that's the one thing I saw from Ryu is being able to make the adjustments on the fly and be a darn good pitcher in this league.
You played in the National League. Coming from National League to American League, what kind of adjustment do players need to make?
Well, I think the difference is
besides the DH.
Well, and that's
Right.
the big difference, right? But you don't get necessarily that pitcher spot off, right? And nationally, the pitchers typically are not good hitters, and you can get an out some way. You can get a bunt, maybe a missed bunt opportunity that turns into 2 outs with a double play. All these things happen in the National League as part of the strategy.
Right.
In the American League, it's no strategy. It's banging the baseball, and you don't really get a hitter off.
Okay. Toronto Blue Jays fans, they're very passionate.
Yeah.
What do you know about it? I mean, a few years ago when they played the Rangers, Roger Center was rocking.
Yeah.
And,
Well, you look at 5 years ago.
Right.
This team won 94, 95 games. That place you couldn't get a seat, right? And I think that's what you're getting back to. And I think the talent is here. I come into camp thinking we're going to talk about the hitting, and everybody's talking about the pitching. So when you're able to sign a guy like Ryu, and then worry about when you're going to bring up Nate Pearson, Chase Anderson's here, as I mentioned, Matt Shoemaker is back. The excitement is starting to come back to the Rogers Center just based on the talent they have in house. And I think it should be really a fun season.
Okay. One last question. The most important question of the day. How do you think the Mets will do?
I mean, they got a good team. They really do.
Because you remember me from 2004, right?
I remember.
Yeah.
You never forget a pretty face. So see, that's what happens. But the Mets will be fine. They got some good pitchers in camp.
Have you been to?
But you know what? You know what the difference is? Health.
Health, right?
Right. If you don't have health, you don't have anything.
Have you been to Port St.
Yeah, I've
Lucie?
been. Have I been? I've been only. Oh, this year you mean?
Yeah, this year. Did you see the clubhouse in Port St. Lucie?
Haven't seen it.
Oh my goodness!
Incredible?
It's incredible.
Oh, so they do it when I leave.
I thought I was in a Lakers clubhouse.
Oh, yeah?
It's unbelievable.
Oh, well, I guess let me say I was there in 06. This is 2020. It's time for upgrade.
All right, thanks, too. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you as
All
well.
right.
All right, tell Jay I said hello.
Hello.
He's a genius.
He's a genius.
Yeah, it's a really interesting team. Look, the AL East is always going to be a monster. And this year's no different. I don't care how many injuries the Yankees have. I don't care what the Red Sox are going through. It's a rough ride. But they're as equipped now to compete in this division as they've been since the glory days, right? And look, a lot of it revolves around pitching. And they've made big strides in that area through free agency, no doubt.
Well, we talked about free agency and pitching. Jays got Hyunjin. How surprised were you that the Jays got it?
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. Scott Boras hasn't done a lot of business with the Jays, and I wasn't sure how motivated Ryu would be to come to someplace like Toronto. But like now that it's settled in, if you can just get him to the mound, that guy is a difference maker. And that's just, unfortunately, that's been the battle. I mean, I don't know. It's a long contract. To think he's going to be healthy for the length of the contract is a lot to ask for. But those years, when you get him out there 28, 30, 32, 33 times, he's a difference maker in the game.
Last year, he had an incredible season. He was healthy throughout the entire season. What impressed you most about Hyunjin's pitching last year?
He's a genius. The way he does it is different from the way everybody else in the big leagues does it. He has so many different pitches, such incredible feel and command for all of them that he's completely unpredictable. That's the way the sport is trending is away from pitchers like him. But he shows that there are many ways to get to the same place. There are many paths to greatness. And his path is so unique that I think it's especially valuable in the sport today.
National League West coming to American League East. We talked about AL is just right now.
Yeah.
For a pitcher, that could be a tough adjustment as well.
That's going to be one of the toughest parts of this. I mean, the National League West, it's not all pitchers' parks, but LA, San Diego, San Francisco, those are great places to pitch. There's nowhere in the AL East that's like that. Nowhere. And he's been around. He's been to these places. He knows Camden Yards is what it is. He knows that Fenway is what it is. But now we're talking about pitching there 3 times a year in every one of those places. It's going to have an impact on his stats, but everybody in the AL East is pitching in those parks. Every team has to play in those parks. So you judge it all within that context.
One last question. Aren't you a little surprised that with Hyunjin's 90, 91 velocity, that he's able to stay at the highest level? Stuff-wise, it's not all that impressive, but how do you think he's able to do this?
Yeah, that's what I mean, is that the trend in the sport is toward more and more and more velocity. And he's the other set of circumstances, right? He's the alternative to that. And first off, I think that helps. There's a very small group of pitchers who pitch that way. And when you combine it with he just has this intuitive feel for how to use his stuff, how to keep hitters totally confused all the time. It's fun to watch, right? Because hitters more than ever now depend on not necessarily knowing what's coming, but having a feel for what a pitcher's likely to do in a given spot. He breaks every mold. He's a really tough at bat for all those reasons.
Dump in the jump. Top when I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. I'm so out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go.